So this is it, guys. This is it. Today, the entire gaming industry would have their eyes on Microsoft as they show and display, the games that would be coming out for 2024. Now, they will be showing games like Avowed, Hellblade 2, and of course the long anticipated gameplay trailer or gameplay of Indiana Jones. So while the industry would be looking at that, we are seeing that the PlayStation community, they are rejoicing. They are rejoicing over what Satya Nadella said concerning, games he would like to publish on other platforms. Now, it's very funny how we could tell the comprehension level of these ponies when we dive into the statements he made. We would see if they were consistent with what he said during the Activision Blizzard FTC court battle. We would also talk about how The Last of Us 2 is basically a ripoff, easy money grab, and how some reviewers are telling the truth concerning The Last of Us 2. We would also talk about some big rumors coming to the Xbox. It's looking like one's PlayStation exclusive would be coming to the Xbox very, very soon. We'll talk about all that and more. So you know what? Let's get it.
This is a sickness!
Let's get it. In today's Now You Know gaming history, we look at one of the hardest games ever made. Some would think that it is the Souls-like game. Those games are very difficult. But back in the day, the hardest game ever played is without a doubt Ghosts and Goblins. Ghosts and Goblins was created in 1985, and it is known in Japan as Mekaimura Demon World Village. It's a run-and-gun platform game series created by Tokuro Fujiwara and developed by Capcom. Now, this game is unlike any other game. This game used to send children going crazy. I don't think I know of anyone who completed this game, who has beaten this game. This game is 10 times harder than any Souls game you could think about. And it has topped the list of many most difficult games ever made. So have you ever played Ghosts and Goblins? Let me know in the comment sections below. Don't forget that this segment was brought to you by the subscribe button. Subscribe for more gaming history like this and more gaming news. So let's start the show. First up, let's talk about one of the games that is coming out for the PlayStation 5, and that game is Foam Stars. It's very strange that when Nintendo came out with Splatoon, a number of these ponies said that this is a kiddie game. This game is for kids. And Nintendo, I don't know what Nintendo is doing, why they don't make, any good games. And when Splatoon went on to sell millions and became a smash hit, these ponies had nothing to say. But now they are capping for Foam Stars. So much so that even one of the PlayStation loyalists is saying, "Hear what? If you don't play Foam Stars, he is blocking you." These guys are now bullying persons into playing their exclusives. Not only that, but we just found out that Foam Stars would be using AI generated art. Yes, we know that persons had a lot to say about AI when Microsoft said they were going to use it. But I wonder if they would support Foam Stars by using AI generated art. We also know that Foam Stars would be coming day one on PlayStation Plus. Would that affect the sales of the game? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Foam Stars, are you playing it? Let me know in the comment sections below. Now let's talk about once PlayStation exclusive coming to the Xbox platform. We know Microsoft has been working with Square Enix to improve their relationship when it comes to, Final Fantasy games coming to the Xbox. So much so that Phil Spencer came on a Final Fantasy stage, and that was when the guy was bawling to the top of his lungs, Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! But we have heard more rumors of more Final Fantasy games coming to the Xbox. We're not only talking about Final Fantasy 14, we are talking about Final Fantasy 7. Once PlayStation exclusive, you're talking about Final Fantasy 16, another Final Fantasy exclusive. Listen to Jez Corden on the Xbox 2 podcast as he spills the beans on this rumor.
Completely locked down, like contractual wise, like they literally can't.
I don't think it is. I've got evidence.
I like this.
Tentatively. I got evidence tentatively. Yeah. I got evidence tentatively that there are discussions about Final Fantasy VII for Xbox.
Of course.
But I do agree with you that Sony probably wouldn't want maybe Sony and Square Enix both wouldn't want to take the shine off Rebirth right now by announcing Final Fantasy VII Remake for Xbox, but I do think it'll happen.
Because in my mind, I'm imagining Final Fantasy Remake launching on Switch 2 and Xbox. Remake is completely locked down, like...
Yes, so Jez Corden is basically saying there that he have proof that those games are coming to the Xbox. We know his track record has been good at times, but we'll have to wait and see. But let's listen to the Game Rant article of this rumor. Listen on.
Rumor: Microsoft in talks to bring big PlayStation console exclusive to Xbox. BYDOMINIK Bosniak. Published 2 days ago, some newly emerged evidence suggests that Microsoft is presently in talks to bring a major PlayStation console exclusive to Xbox. Microsoft may be in preliminary discussions to bring Final Fantasy VII Remake to Xbox, an established industry insider has said. This claim arrives mere months after a well-known leaker labeled a Final Fantasy VII Remake Xbox port as unlikely, at least in the foreseeable future. The first installment in the planned trilogy of Final Fantasy VII remakes was originally released as a timed PS4 exclusive in April 2020. An enhanced version of the game, called Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, launched on the PS5 in June 2021 before making its way to PC 6 months later. Square Enix has yet to give any indication that an Xbox port of the game is on the cards, despite the fact that its exclusivity deal with Sony ended years ago. Be that as it may, Microsoft may currently be in talks to finally bring the game to the Xbox Series X, according to Windows Central's Jez Corden. I've got evidence tentatively that there are discussions about Final Fantasy VII Remake for Xbox, Corden said during the latest episode of the Xbox 2 podcast. His insight dovetails with Phil Spencer's recent comments on the possibility of a FF7 Remake Xbox port that saw the Microsoft Gaming CEO reveal he's often in Tokyo discussing potential new releases with Square Enix. But even if these purported talks were to amount to anything, Corden believes that a near-future announcement of the Final Fantasy VII Remake Xbox port is unlikely, as such a move would take the shine off Rebirth. For clarity, FF7 Rebirth, the second installment in the planned remake trilogy, launches February 29th as Square Enix's biggest game of the year, budget and expectations-wise. Much like its predecessor, the upcoming JRPG will be a timed PlayStation exclusive. Nevertheless, Xbox fans eager to play some Final Fantasy won't be without options in the near future. That's primarily because the Final Fantasy XIV Xbox Series X open beta is on the horizon, with Square Enix planning to launch it on or around February 21st. As for the possibility of Final Fantasy VII Remake finally making its way to Microsoft's consoles, stranger things have happened. Ultimately, even Square Enix itself wants to bring more of its games to Xbox, having said as much as late as summer 2023, shortly after announcing that FF14 is finally coming to Microsoft's current generation consoles. But even assuming more Final Fantasy games are on their way to Xbox, that's not to say FF7 Remake will be leading that batch. After all, the FF16 exclusivity period just ran out in late December, making that game another potential porting candidate for Square Enix.
So there you have it. Final Fantasy just might come to an Xbox platform. I wonder how the Sony community would feel for one of their exclusives going to an Xbox platform. Now I know what they're going to say. They're going to say, but that's not a first party exclusive. Well, then why did you count it as one of that earlier on? So you can't have it both ways. You can't have Final Fantasy as an exclusive when it matters, but when it's going to another platform, you are saying that it's not a first party content. Let me know what you think about that. Final Fantasy coming to an Xbox platform. Next up, let's talk about The Last of Us 2 Remastered. You see, PlayStation has a milking strategy going with their fans. They love to milk them, so they keep giving them the same games over and over, despite they not having any major graphical upgrade or so forth, or even bumping up to 120 frames per second or what have you. And they keep getting great profit returns on games like that. So that is why Sony is continually doing it. Now some fans are capping, saying that this game is good. It got a 92 on Metacritic and then fell to a 90 on Metacritic. This just might be a 88 or 89 review game, because there is no major graphical improvement when it comes to The Last of Us 2. But you know something? Some fans and some reviewers are not having it. They are fed up of Sony and their milking tactics. Let's look at some of these reviews and some of these gripes from the fans. IGN Spain reviewed The Last of Us 2 Part 2 wants to follow in the footsteps of the first installment, but it doesn't get off to a good start. The new version is riddled with bugs and only climbs a few steps thanks to the exciting no return mode, which makes the remastered a half tribute. PlayZine said The Last of Us 2 Remastered is not a remaster at all. At best, it has some new features that should have been free. No return roguelike game mode is lackluster and there is no point in playing it.
It ain't me. Ain't me.
Wow, that was brutal. This is what Digital Foundry had to say about The Last of Us 2. Listen on.
Version was updated with support for PS5 hardware, enabling PS5s to run the game at 1440p at 60 frames per second. This new remastered PS5 release seems to promise more, so what's up with the rendering here? The basic visual setup is very familiar, at least by default. We're getting a 1440p 60 experience in the default performance mode, just like the earlier patched code. There's no signs of DRS or upsampling here as far as I can tell. Side-by-sides suggest that the two versions are a match in terms of basic image quality, with a similar, slightly soft resolve. If you look closely, you can spot some aliasing here and there, but for the most part the two releases seem perfectly fine, especially when seen from a typical TV viewing distance.
I beg your pardon?
Ellie looks identical across the two versions. Overall, these two releases of The Last of Us Part 2 look fairly similar. Naughty Dog has definitely tweaked and touched up some aspects of the game's visual presentation here and there, but players shouldn't go in expecting a broad visual uplift relative to the patched PS4 code that we've had for the past 2.5 years.
Ooh. Come on, my nigga. You supposed to be nicer than this. Like,
the biggest upgrade here over playing the game on a PS4 or PS4 Pro system is still the ability to play at 60 frames per second, which the remastered version and the patched version of the original both offer on PS5 systems.
Really him. You're a victim. There we go, CSI.
So there you have it. All evidence point to The Last of Us 2 as being an easy cash grab for the PlayStation money-hungry executives. PlayStation fans would call this a win, but it's very clear. This is an easy milking session, and they will continue to do it. So let me hear what you think about The Last of Us 2 Remastered. Did you buy it, or are you going to pass on this one? Let me know. And finally, let's talk about Microsoft going third party. Let's listen very carefully as to what Satya Nadella said when it comes to putting Microsoft games on a Nintendo platform or a Sony platform. Let's listen carefully at what he's saying, and then we would point out what the pony community is doing to clip just a certain portion to suit their narrative. Let's listen on.
Jacob asks about the health and future of Xbox. Satya, could you give an update on our gaming business?
Yeah, we're very, very excited about everything that's going on in gaming, especially with the close of Activision, Blizzard.
So Satya is very clear with what he just said. He said he is excited now because of the close of the Activision Blizzard King deal. What he's saying is that, seeing that they are now one of the biggest publishers in gaming, because that is exactly what Activision was. Activision published on many consoles, right? Many titles for many years. Listen carefully as to what he's saying, why he is excited about the closing of Activision Blizzard King. Listen.
King, we think that now we have the ability to really do what we've always set out to do, which is build great games and deliver them to folks across all platforms, right? Which is Xbox and consoles, the PCs, and now even including mobile gaming and cloud gaming. So we're excited about the future. We want to do our very best work in gaming. It's a core business for us. But also, I see tremendous synergy between what we're doing up and down the AI stack. I always say Microsoft's not a conglomerate. We have one platform that we express through multiple different addressable markets, and gaming is one. Finally, in gaming, we are doubling down, rapidly executing on our ambition to be the first choice for people to play great games whenever, wherever, and however they want. We are thrilled to close our acquisition of Activision Blizzard King this fall and look forward to sharing more in the coming months about how together we will bring the joy of gaming to more people around the world.
So what the PlayStation community is doing currently is making it seem that Microsoft is going third party because of what Satya said here. But it's very much apparent that Microsoft, after acquiring Activision Blizzard, they became one of the biggest publishers in the world, because Activision Blizzard used to publish on, many consoles, as I said before. But now Microsoft is doing it even bigger, because Activision Blizzard had publishing on Nintendo, but now with Xbox at the helm, Activision Blizzard will be publishing on Nintendo. They'll also be publishing on smartphones. They bring their Call of Duty games and Diablo on a PlayStation platform. So by default, after acquiring Activision Blizzard, Microsoft is a third-party publisher, technically. So I don't know why is this new, and this is consistent with what it is Satya and Phil and Sarah Bond told the FTC and the judge, that they will be bringing Activision games to more platforms. So yes, they are a third-party developer. What is new here? The PlayStation community is trying to say is that all Xbox games will be going to other platforms, and that is not true. Microsoft CEO says exclusive Activision makes no strategic sense. So it was always part of Microsoft's plans to bring Activision Blizzard King games and services to as many platforms as possible. So what Satya said just yesterday or day before yesterday is consistent with what he was always saying. This has already been known a long time ago. Listen to what Phil Spencer said. On Friday, Microsoft said the deal's closure would instead increase access to Activision games. We believe our news today will unlock a world of possibilities for more ways to play. So these ponies cannot read, they cannot comprehend. This has always been part of Microsoft's strategy to keep Activision Blizzard games, multi-platform, making them the biggest publisher. But the verbiage when it comes to other studios like Activision Blizzard is a bit different. They are keeping more of Activision Blizzard games exclusive. Yes, they might send Hi-Fi Rush or some of the smaller titles to other platforms. But when it comes to the big AAA exclusives, they are staying on an Xbox platform or anywhere that has Game Pass. So this is the whole scenario of what is going on. The Sony community is again twisting the narrative to make it seem like Microsoft is going third party, but based on what the evidence are showing, that is not totally true when it comes to Bethesda games. Activision Blizzard games, yes, that will continue to break in boatloads of money for Microsoft so that they could pump into their ecosystem to make even more games. So let me hear what you think about everything that has been said. Let me know in the comment sections below. This video went on a little too long. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.